Welcome to day 50 of the Savage Cash podcast. Here with me, Suppoman, your superhero cryptocurrency expert. Now, I am going to bring you something very, very special for day 50. I am going to analyze about 10 coins. I'm going to do some technical analysis on them. I'm going to offer you my opinion on whether they're good buys, whether they're long-term buys, what's driving, their value, all sorts. This is going to be a pretty good video to, in fact, I think it's going to be an amazing video to watch. And if you are looking for the next cryptocurrency to invest in, this is going to help you out, okay? So, if you want to learn how to do these things yourself, the best place to come is to my cryptocurrency investment course 2017. I know a lot of you are already invested in it, and I think that's marvelous. And if you're not, I recommend that you do, because if you go to the link in the description, you can get it for just $10 instead of $195. And secondly, you get to join my amazing group of cryptocurrency, traders, guys who, this is an awesome community. They're basically sharing, as well as me, sharing, the trades we're going for, the market news that's driving the value of these cryptocurrencies. It's an amazingly interactive cryptocurrency group, and arguably the best I've ever been in. I have never been in a cryptocurrency community where I am learning myself, So I am really chuffed to have this community. And of course, if you get the cryptocurrency investment course, you can join that community of people. Okay, so what I'm going to be using for this particular video is I am going to be using Coinigy. And Coinigy allows me to do technical analysis, draw on charts. There is another kind of software like this, which is called TradingView. I haven't personally used it, but people have said that it's a free version of this. Okay, so go ahead if you want to have a more free version. This is free for the first 30 days, and then you pay kind of $15 every month. And to be honest, I see that as nothing compared to what I actually invest in cryptocurrencies. And investing in this allows you to use the tools I'm going to be using, and essentially allows you to be able to make better trades and not just chase the money. What I have noticed a lot of people doing, and this is just general market behavior, is people are driven by two basic emotions: greed and fear. Okay, so people look for a cryptocurrency that happens to be doing well, and they jump in through greed. Because essentially, without doing any of the analysis, you're going into unknown territory. Okay, you're just essentially putting your chips in because you see a rise, and you're chasing the peak essentially, which, as I said the other day, is not the way to go about it. Obviously, some people can make a good decision. They can see, like, for instance, Synergy. If you'd have gotten in on Synergy, it rose by about 600%. If you'd have gotten into Synergy when it had made 50% because you saw a good rise, then that would have been a good decision. But it's not always like that, okay? A lot of time, you chase a peak, then the peak suddenly drops, people dump the stock, and you actually make a loss, okay? So it's never really a good idea to enter into a trade without knowledge, okay? Don't gamble with cryptocurrencies. And greed is essentially what makes people gamble, because people see an opportunity and they go for it. I personally wait for an opportunity. I don't trade every day. And people say to me, oh, did you get into Synergy? Did you get into Cannabis Coin? No. I'm one person. I can't be in every single trade. A lot of people expect the cryptocurrency experts to be in every single trade that's doing well. We are in some, but not in all. And I don't trade every day. I only trade when I see a good deal and I anticipate the high. I will only trade when the market governs a good decision. Okay, when I see that there's market news and there's information that is telling me a cryptocurrency that's undervalued is about to blow or soon going to blow, that's when I go in. I don't go in while it's already exploding, because 9 out of 10 times you'll get burnt doing that. Okay, let's get on with this analysis then. So I asked my group earlier, I said, give me 10 coins that you would like me to go through, and I will have a look at them for you. So that is exactly what I'm going to be doing in this particular podcast. Okay, so this may be a bit long, so stay the course if you're interested, because I'm going to go through some really good ones. I'm going to go through Steem, Stratis, what else? Antshares, LBRY, Liske, quite a few. A BAT as well I'm going to be going through. So I'm going to be going through quite a mixture of ones that are really low value, ones that are relatively high to buy, ones that have been released just off ICO recently. So I'm going to go through quite a mix. I'm not just going to go through the safe options, all right? And I'm not touching Bitcoin or Ethereum. And the reason why is because although Ethereum is an altcoin, okay, I don't look at the ones that are already highly valuable. I don't look at the safe options where you're going to make 2 times your money in about a couple of months. I look for ones where you can make 2 times your money in a day, 2 times your money in a week, or a month at most, okay? Or more. I've made some amazing decisions to buy cryptocurrencies. I have made 20, 30 times gain on some of them. And, you know, and I do it because of my method of what I choose, okay? Now, some people may make big gains, but half the time it's a gamble, okay? If you are making a big gain because you go for something like Synergy, like Cannabis Coin, just before it blew up, you know, and because it was blowing up at the time, that's a gamble, okay? Reading up and anticipating it, that's a smart way of going about trading, all right? There's so much money to be made. One of my friends made $1 million in a day, for God's sake. 1 million life-changing money in 1 day. Okay, he bets big. He bets huge. He bets 5 figures though. He doesn't bet 6 figures. So it's not like he put 700,000 and then made a small gain to get $1 million. No, he actually bet a 5-figure amount and he made $1 million in 1 day. There's so much damn money out there. It's just screaming out. It's almost like it's not real, but it is real. Believe me, okay? But it's like it's not real. It's just so much money out there. My mouth is salivating. It's so easy to get. Easier than ever to get. And you don't even have to go horse racing or playing poker. The money's just there. But you do the right analysis and you get the reward. Okay, so let's start. What should we go through first? Let's go through... I'll tell you what, one of the first requests I had was on BitBay. So let's have a look at BitBay. Okay. Now bear with me because my Coinergy is like working really stupidly today. Okay. So let's have a look at BitBay. So BitBay has been shrouded in controversy for the last year or so because they have a developer. Well, their developer apparently wasn't really the developer working on BitBay. It was a developer working on another coin, and the people behind BitBay, not the developers, but like the founders, they put this guy down as the lead developer when he wasn't really, and to essentially to increase the value of the coin because this guy had a good name in the development world. And so this guy came onto Reddit and he basically said, I'm not lead developer. I was basically like manipulated. Well, basically it was a scandal. Okay. He said that it wasn't all completely legitimate. So it was shrouded in controversy. And as a result, it's just kind of been nowhere for a long time. As you can see here, it's been nowhere for a long time. And then all of a sudden, literally like a few weeks, how long ago was this? This was literally a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, it absolutely exploded. It exploded out of nowhere. Okay, and then people have been asking me, what do you think of BitBay? What do you think of BitBay? So what made this happen? Which was around about 5th of June, was BitBay got on their website or their blog and they basically said, we've got a new sales and marketing team. That drove the value up because all of a sudden it went from like being one developer, and this went from being a very kind of risky investment because it had really one developer. And, you know, if you've got one developer, you rely on that developer to keep on increasing his own skills in order to be able to make the platform better. Okay, so basically the whole future of the platform relied solely on him. But they released a blog, or launched a blog, about a new marketing team that they had assembled. And all of a sudden, bang, it went from being risky to not as risky, because all of a sudden they had a marketing team behind it that would stabilize it, that would increase the value of the coin, and it just went right up. Okay, so as you can see, this was how it went, and then after that it just tanked. Okay, so based on that market news, that is what happened to the market. Okay, so really this is its trend line, and as you can see, it's almost reverting right back to it. Okay, so you can see that we're almost getting there already. So it's going up here, and it's probably going to be expected to go around here for a bit. So BitBay, now, has this got long-term potential? It's shrouded in so much controversy. A lot of the community believe this to be a risky investment, and as a result, this has gone down. You know, if we do our Fibonacci retracement thingy-majiggy, Fibonacci retracement. Okay, if we do it, let's just do it from this point here before it really started going. So we're kind of in the 50%, above 50%, so about 45%, 45-50% of the value it was when it really went up. Now it's had some good buyer support. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it's had some good buyer support. People are bought into it. Now, whether or not they're bought into it because these are serious traders, or whether it's just the market seeing this at a good price, because it's obviously tanked, a lot of people sold. This is the element. This is fear. Okay, so fear. It starts to go down in value. So people remove their coins, they sell their coins, and all of a sudden, bang! And then people see it's getting down to a nice price. Oh, it went right up, so let's try and get in there. So it's got some relatively good buy activity, as we can see down here. And very recently it's had some, you know, basically 2 days ago it had some good buyer activity, and then since then it's just kind of, you know, not done too well. All right, so BitBay, in my opinion, was fueled by was basically fueled by the market news. Okay, so whether it actually has long-term value is to be decided. Okay, so in my opinion, I would wait until it got down to this line here, if it does. You know, so basically we'll see how the market does, okay, and see how it reacts to going to this line here. And see, because with a lot of coins, what you notice is that when it reaches the trend line, it'll go up. Okay, so if this has potential, it will go up. Might not go up by this much. It might just go up by a little bit. See how it goes. I personally still think it's a risky investment. Okay, because the sales and marketing team does not outweigh the fact they've got one developer. All right, so I would recommend a buy at about 122 if you can. Okay, and currently it's at 164. So at 122, see how the price is going. I'm happy to be wrong on this, but based on what I've researched, this doesn't seem like it's the safest and non-riskiest place to put your money. So where shall we go next? Let's have a look at Doge, because I had quite a few requests to look at Doge. Okay, so let's look at how Doge is doing. Now, Doge is a weird one, okay? Doge is a very weird one because it just fluctuates in value. Now, the time I got Doge was at the end of... I got Doge at the end of May during the crash. It went down to 98, which was exactly the price that I bought at. Okay, and then since then, it kind of went up. Okay, so it had a pretty good trend line. It was doing quite nicely. I thought it was going up and up and up. It kind of stabilized above 115, and then in the last week or so, it's just kind of tanked. Now, a lot of the reason why I think that Doge isn't really experiencing a lot of success, because I mean, we can put, you know, our support line and our resistance line. So a big reason why I think this hasn't had a lot of success is simply because of the currency itself. Okay, there are some really exciting currencies right now, some really exciting ICOs. There's Civic, there's Stratis, there's Wager, there's so many. Bangor, there's so many ICOs currently, and it's kind of getting people interested in is whetting people's appetite, because one amongst the best times to get involved in a cryptocurrency is during the ICO stage, because that's normally when you can get it at the best price. So people are turning their attentions away. They are cashing out on their stock, on their coins, and they are putting it into these cryptocurrencies, these ICOs. And so what's happened with Doge is where it had some good buyer support here, it was a good line, it was going up. You know, actually, if we trace this back, you know, it's got a pretty good line here, a pretty good line of growth. Yet, it's broken trend recently. It's broken trend going between 121 and 110. Okay, so it's almost getting down to where I got it at, which surprises me. But I think it's because of the cryptocurrency itself. Okay, having read up a lot about Doge, okay, there's some very minor things going on with it. You know, things to do with, you know, wallets and things. So there's not been much, like for instance with Antshares, which I'll talk about in a minute. There's not been much that's groundbreaking with Doge. Not enough to keep people interested with all the ICO stuff happening. So I think that Doge is a really good buy at the moment. I think that it's going to go back up to this, okay? Because look, it's got quite strong support, and it reached kind of a high in May. In May, it went up to 160. It went up to about 168 from what I remember on Bittrex. It went right up. So I think it's got those times ahead of it again. But at the moment, it's not too exciting when you have a look at what else is going on in the market. So it's kind of going around this area, but it's not gone out of this area. It's staying within this area. So it's waiting for a breakdown or a breakout. But personally, I think this is more likely to be a breakout in future. So what could happen is you can just buy at about 110, 109. Okay, so have a look and see what the prices are looking at. So let me just have a look on Poloniex and see what the price of Doge is right now. There's Doge. So Doge is at 110. That's a good buying time, I think. This isn't much more expensive than when I bought it. Okay, so I think it's I think what I like about Doge is that it lacks risk. Okay, there's not a lot of risk with Doge. It's a very inexpensive cryptocurrency that has experienced quite a big high. Okay, so I think that based on the high, there's every likelihood that it could just rocket at some point. Okay, so if we just have a look at this, so as you can see here, it has experienced some nice pump and dumps. Okay, so people have pumped it and they've dumped it, pumped it and they've dumped it. And I think there is another one of those times ahead. It's not just not happened, really. It's just not really happened for Doge. It's not really been the right time, but give it time. The thing that I am constantly finding myself reminding other people is you've got to have patience in this game. Things don't happen daily. It doesn't happen weekly often, but it does happen. And it does happen over time. So people say, oh, I bought NXT at 7,000. Should I keep it? Should I remove it? And basically it's been at, you know, nearly 5,000. Yeah, it's been in the 6,000s. People say, should I get rid? Should I keep it? Keep it, okay? Because it's going to go up and you're going to be able to sell it at a break-even point at worst. Now, if you need that money, if you need it, cash it out. If you have an ICO, like the other day, I took money out of Antshares. It was literally on whatever day, just the day before the announcement. And I took my money out of Antshares and I piled it into Civic, okay? Because I'd made quite a good profit on Antshares. So I took it out whilst it was on a high. It hadn't reached its peak, but I took it while it was out on a high and put it into Civic. So if you need that money to invest in something else that you see blowing up right now, it makes I suppose, the sourness of taking a loss a bit better if you can make a profit, okay? Because you're kind of cancelling it out. So if you find yourself in a loss position, that is, only sell it if you notice that if you need to use that money for something. Otherwise, stay in. And so with Doge, I do expect for it to be another good pump and dump. It's been quite strong. It has been strong. And I imagine that as the cryptocurrency bubble continues to grow and expand, Doge is going to be back in there again. Now, what can we have a look at next? Let's have a look at Ripple, okay? Because this one has split the cryptocurrency community, okay? Ripple is currently at a relatively good price, okay? So the best time to have got in Ripple was about April, and otherwise beginning of May, which was at the time that I kind of got involved in Ripple. Because, I mean, Ripple was actually the reason I came to cryptocurrencies in the first place, funnily enough. So, because I was saying yesterday, my first trade was my second trade was game credits. My first trade was actually Ripple. Okay, so if we use our Fibonacci line, okay, we go to the lowest point back in March and go up to the highest point. Where we're at now is just about the 50% line. Okay, if we move this line to about here, then we are near the 60 line. Okay, so the thing is with Ripple is that it's like Marmite. Okay, you either love it or you hate it. If you are a purist cryptocurrency trader, you don't really like Ripple, since it's been adopted by Japanese banks. Okay, because the whole magic of cryptocurrency is decentralized. It's not controlled by banks. It's not controlled by governments. Once those entities get involved in a cryptocurrency, it ruins the magic of a cryptocurrency. Hence why Ripple had such a fantastic growth, and since then it's become one of the great failure stories. Okay, so it's had a couple of pump and dumps, one there, one there, one there. They're very, very small. Okay, small rises. It's struggling to break through. And I dare say it's going to continue struggling to break through. Because whilst you've got the purist cryptocurrency traders, you've also got the ones that have heard tons about it. It's almost become a myth. It's become like folklore. It's become one of those cryptocurrencies that you've heard about because of it. It made people millionaires. And because, you know, it's because of the banks, actually. So what makes it great is also what makes it bad. So what people think is bad about it with the Japanese banks is actually what people actually makes people think it's stable to go for as an investment. So I am personally split. Okay, Ripple was nice to me, and I got out way before break-even point. I got out when I noticed that it was tanking. Okay, I noticed this was one of my great kind of learning points in cryptocurrency trading. I very quickly learned that something that goes up tremendously also has a huge fall potentially. Okay, depending on what the cryptocurrency is and what's heard about it. So Ripple is a decent entry point if you want to get into Ripple. Okay, I don't think this is the end of the story for Ripple, but I do think that Ripple has kind of alienated itself from a lot of the community, particularly the community that invests a lot. And that's why I think that this hasn't had the buyer support, because it hasn't got the community behind it. So I think it's another one of those cryptocurrencies that are moving more sideways than upwards. Okay, so I think that if you're looking to make relatively modest gains in the short term, Ripple may allow you to do that because it's got a fairly good entry point, but it's not a cryptocurrency I'm involved in, okay, anymore. All right, I'm of the kind of purist view. I am not into Ripple, but if you want to be, there is possibly every chance this could go up if something significant happens with the coin. Let's move on to Stratis, okay? Because Stratis is this is a coin of brilliance, okay? Now I bought Stratis in late-ish May, okay? So I bought it at I can't really remember what it was in terms of this point here, but I got it at about $1.17 or so. And Stratis is magic. This is a pure coin. This is one that I anticipate is going to really rock it. Okay, that's what I really see for Stratis. I think personally that where it is now isn't a reflection of what the coin is all about. I think that why it's here is because a lot of the serious traders, the position-based traders, the ones that like to get in the right spot for when it explodes, are accumulating Stratis here. They're using the opportunity to accumulate the Stratis, okay, because they know what it's worth. And I think that, again, because a lot of the shine has been taken off quite a few of the cryptocurrencies lately because of ICOs and because of really exploding cryptocurrencies, the pure ones, the ones that aren't necessarily going to make you huge profits straight away, are being somewhat ignored. But I do see a point where this is going to skyrocket. This is going to absolutely skyrocket again. Okay, I absolutely see that happening. So I see this going very far in the future. I see this going to well in excess of where it's been. It's been at $11 at its absolute peak. And I see this going very, very high. I see this potentially following this kind of pattern. Potentially, okay? Also, another potential for this is that it has a bit of a folding coin kind of effect, okay? So with folding coin, if that has recently had a huge increase. It hit, I believe, an all-time high. So last time that folding coin had a huge high was back in September of last year. Okay, and since then it's kind of been in the doldrums. It's kind of just been waiting for that point. And what happened is as soon as it kind of hit this point here, equaling its best, it skyrocketed. It skyrocketed. It really went for it, and then it kind of came to a point where there was no stopping it. It just made an enormous profit for people who were lucky enough to get in at this point. I personally didn't get involved in folding coin, and don't have any regrets about not being involved in it, even though it went up hugely. But what I want to use is this as a comparison, okay? So as soon as it gets to a position of former glory, all of a sudden, the confidence comes back in the coin, okay? And what I believe will happen with Stratis is that once we get that previous position achieved, I think that is going to be when Stratis hits the stratosphere. That's what I think with Stratis. And this is a commonly held view. It's not me just me that has this view. I believe this is going to go to infinity and beyond. I think this is going to be massive. I think this is up there with Steem. And yesterday, obviously, I put a cryptocurrency video showing my top 5 long-term coins, and this is why I think Stratis is going to be massive. Now, whether or not it follows this trend line or whether it continues to go up there will be a point. There will be a point where it hits a price and bang, it will go. It will go. And people are being smart at the moment and accumulating at the right price. I've personally tried to get my group involved in Stratis ASAP because I think it's at a good price. I thought it was a good price over here, and I still think it's a great price right now. And I've said, get involved. Get involved. This is going to be stratospheric. I have every confidence it's going to be absolutely massive because this is a pure coin. This is one of those Ethereum type coins that you can almost bet your life on. Okay. And I was lucky enough to get... Go away. I was lucky enough to get involved in it at around about... Well, when was it? It was endish of May. It was about here that I got involved in Stratis. And ain't no way I'm getting rid of it. And in fact, I'm likely to buy more of it. I wish I'd bought more at this point, okay? I put a lot of my chips in Steem subsequently. I wish I'd put equal amounts in Stratis because I think this is going to be absolutely phenomenal, guys. I think it's going to be a massive hit. Okay, so that's Stratis. What should we look at? Let's look at Antshares next, okay? Because lots of people have asked me about Antshares. Particularly because today it's kind of reached a price which is about its optimal entry point. So if we just zoom in a little bit on Antshares, I apologise. I really don't like Coinergy sometimes. It really does just get right on my wick. Okay, let's just use this view. Okay, and let's use the Fibonacci retracement. So if we just go from we can go from the low point right here and up to where it got to, about there. And then we look at its optimal range. Okay, so let's just get the old rectangle out. Optimal range is about here. Okay, so it's getting near there. It all depends on where you put your retracement. Okay, so but based on, you know, on a while ago, if we put it back to when it truly blew up, it's about here. We're at the 60% line. Okay. So why did Antshares blow up? Because I know a lot of people have just have blindly kind of gone into Antshares, and because everybody's talking about Antshares, people get into Antshares. Antshares was a relatively obvious bet. Okay, now the reason why Antshares went for so long at a low value, well, was quite undervalued, was because of their marketing. Essentially, Antshares, to give you a bit of context, Antshares is like the Chinese Bitcoin. It's like the first Chinese cryptocurrency, one that they have created themselves. And it's not been one that they've really marketed to, you know, the Western audience. So if you're from, you know, from a Western country, UK, United States, whatever, then you probably won't really have been aware of Antshares because it's big in China and to Eastern audiences. So what has happened as a result of an announcement, basically, is that it brought it into the public eye. They have given it this badge. They've given Antshares this badge. It's China's Ethereum. Ethereum or Bitcoin doesn't really bloody matter. The point is that this is what they're looking to use as their official cryptocurrency, or one of the main cryptocurrencies that you can actually use in China to buy and sell goods. Okay, so that's why it was thrust into the public eye of Western audiences because of this announcement. That's why a lot of people invested massive amounts of money into Antshares, and they rode this humongous wave. Okay, now since the announcement, which wasn't necessarily a tremendous announcement, they're basically rebranding. Well, the announcement happened here. They're basically rebranding Antshares. It's going to be Neo or something as a coin. So as a result of that, people have made massive gains, and they're now dumping the hell out of it. Okay, so that explains its sudden fall and why it's now into the kind of 60% range based on when the hype really started. Okay, so if you were clued up, you would have known the signs of this. So if you heard about this announcement, heard about Antshares and the announcement that happened a couple of days, yesterday or a couple of days ago, if you'd have heard about it, that would have sparked the initiative to buy. A lot of people bought based on greed, but the more knowledgeable bought based on knowledge. Okay, so you've got to be kind of clued up about this stuff. You know, something that I would recommend you did was I would recommend that you set up some kind of RSS feed or news feed. So that essentially, when cryptocurrencies are mentioned in the news, you get alerted. Okay, whatever the news is. Because what happens is that you will get gleams of information that allows you to make educated trades. Okay, so anyway, that's what happened with Antshares, and that describes why it is where it is now. So what do I think of Antshares for the future? Well, I think that a lot of this red is fear. Okay, so fear of losing it. Okay, so you've made this massive gain. You don't want to lose what amazing profits you made, so you got out. Okay, now a lot of why Antshares has gone unrecognized is because it's more relevant for Chinese audiences. Okay, and as a result of that, you know, people aren't necessarily as bought into it as they would be for Ethereum, Bitcoin, Stratis, etc. But if you look past that, if you look at the grandiose terms of the Bitcoin of China or the Ethereum of China, or the kind of a first official cryptocurrency of China, you know, then this could be a gold mine in the future. Okay, I mean, basically, Chinese audiences, the Chinese that invest in cryptocurrencies, are going to drive up the value as they probably have for most of its lifetime. So think about outside of the box, I suppose. Think about what value will be driven from the Eastern audiences and think about the fact this is a good potential long-term gain as a result. Okay, at the moment, it's had the ripple effect in that people made massive gains and they've gotten out, and they're not necessarily sure what to make of it. But think of it as a potential Ethereum. Okay, think of it as, you know, Ethereum at one point was worth, you know, very little money. People bought tons of it, and exploded. Now that it's in the red, this is a time to get into it, okay? And potentially, because China will want to make this work. They will want, the cryptocurrency sector in China are going to want to make this work. So I anticipate that in time, maybe not now, but I anticipate that in time, this is going to explode, okay? But this is a long-term one, I think. This is certainly not short-term anymore. So, you know, I would say that it's a good buy at the moment. Okay, it's a good buy at the moment. I haven't got any, but I think that from a long-term perspective, I don't want to hold too many long-term coins. There are a lot of long-term coins. I'm going to be talking about a few more in this, but don't necessarily buy every cryptocurrency on the planet. But this has every reason to do well in the future. All right, so that's Antshares. What shall we do next? I've got my little list there of all the ones that my group suggested to me. Let's try LBRY. Okay, LBRY I mentioned yesterday as being one of my ones for the future. Okay, LBRY I think is a potential gold mine. All right, so let's look at this. Okay, so we had a trend line going across here. Yeah, we got 3 points of contact here. And then all of a sudden, it went off trend and started going up like that. And then it went up even more. Look at that. Now, what is LBRY? LBRY is attempting to be kind of like a Netflixy YouTube type platform. Okay, so what happens is you upload content. Okay, so let's say you've made a video or something, movie, I don't know. I mean, I think this is looking at being more serious content creators rather than your YouTubers. So your YouTubers is just your normal people with a personality. The people who are more professionals, like book creators, movie creators, TV program creators, what they're looking to do with LBRY is they're looking to make a platform where content is available, videos, books, all sorts, that you pay for with LBRY credits, okay? So it's essentially trying to be a bit like a Netflix. Like, I'm not sure if it's going to be subscription or not. Their beta version, there's no version yet. Their beta version comes out at the end of July. Okay, so we are going to see a working version of this. That explains the jump in price. Now, if you've gotten in, I got in ages ago with LBRY credits. I got it when it was, I can't remember, I think it was it $1 or something? I can't remember. No, it was less than that. It was less, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, so I got LBRY credits when it was virtually nothing in value. And look at it go. Look at it go. And it's rocketing. It's rocketing. It basically has reached a point here where you're not stopping it. All right? You're not stopping it. So LBRY credits is potentially massive. It's following this trend line even with the resistance here. Look at the volume. Look at the volume of buy. It's amazing. Okay? And I think that the more that the news spreads about the beta version being released shortly, and this announcement didn't come out very long ago. With that being said, we are going to potentially see it becoming absolutely massive. So let's have a look on ye old Poloniex and have a look at look at LBC today. Okay, so LBC is looking like it's poised. Now, although it says minus 935, that doesn't discount the fact it's grown absolutely enormously recently. So where it could be, so where it is now isn't necessarily reflective of the fact it's low down in value right now, because it's very high, and it's going to rocket. It's going to continue to grow. So anyway, so I think I still hold the opinion LBRY credits is a tremendous one for the future, because if you even look at Netflix and what's the other one, YouTube. If you have a look at that, I mean, YouTube now charges you for films. Okay, so you know, it's roughly similar. So content creators essentially have control of their pricing. They can make it free. They can make it 10 library credits. I don't know, whatever. But content creators will have control, and I think that. I mean, if you look at Amazon, where people sell their books on Amazon and it's regulated by Amazon say, oh, we'll take this much and blah, 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 right? This essentially is wiping that part of it out, okay? So it's giving the content creator control. And this is what I think is going to make LBRY credits absolutely enormous. Absolutely enormous, all right? So LBRY credits, fantastic opportunity. Now, if you notice it dipping, if it dips, goes down to this line, if you notice a dip, buy it, okay? So let's have a look and see where an optimal trade point would be. And let's be realistic. This is only really going up now. So, all right, so if we have a look here, if you were able to get it at 22361, I think that's an amazing price if it ever goes down to that again. But I think that whenever you actually, I mean, you want to get it at the best price. You want to make a good return. But I think whatever price you kind of get it at, once the beta version comes out, it's going to rocket again. And then once it actually becomes a thing, it's going to rocket even more. So whatever price you get it at, this is a good long-term investment. Obviously, I got it at an exceptional price. I'm glad I did, and I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it well invested. Right, so that's LBRY. What should we look at next? Liske. Let's have a look at Liske. Liske. Now, Liske is very, very similar to LBRY in how it has kind of moved over time, okay, over the last few months. Okay, if we have a more recent view, we can see there's a trend line here. It's going up nice and gradually. Look at that beauty. And then all of a sudden, vroom. Massive. Okay, nice peak. And what's happened is that it has stayed up here. Okay, so if we just put our buyer support line and our resistance line, what we can see is that it's kind of stayed up here the past week or so. All right, so what we've got here is we have got a cryptocurrency virtually at stalemate. Now, I have no Liske, okay? I have no Liske, but look at where it is right now, okay? It's at the bottom of this support line, okay? So if we just have a look on Poloniex and have a look at Liske, okay? So Liske has a very minor increase today, 1200, 120. I would recommend you get now or 119. I think this is poised to soar. Now, what is Liske? So Liske is essentially blockchain, sidechain technology. It allows you to create apps with the blockchain supporting it. So it allows you to create all sorts of types of apps. You know, news apps, games, social networks, alerts, all sorts you can build with Liske, okay? And I think that has driven its current value, okay? Where people are getting more knowledgeable, people are getting educated about cryptocurrencies, they are seeing what the potential long-term value is of this particular coin, all right? So at the moment, if you get it at 120, that is at the bottom of this, near the bottom of this support line. It hasn't really gone much before that. And I think that, and similar has actually happened here, as it did with Folding Coin and what I think will happen with Stratis. Got to once it reaches a high, it only it kind of only goes up from there. So as far as I'm concerned, we zoom in again. Far as I'm concerned, there will come a point similar to with Stratis, similar to with LBRY, that I think there's going to be almost no stopping this once it goes up. I think once it goes up, there's going to be no stopping it. You know, there's going to be, you know, it's going to potentially be another enormous one. I've got no Liske. I am going to buy Liske if it goes under. I was going to buy it earlier, actually, because it was under 120. It was at 119. So this is the time for me to get involved in Liske, because I think there will come a point where it literally blasts off into outer space. All right, so Liske is a good one. Liske, a lot of people speak highly of, and rightly so, because Liske has amazing potential as a technology, and as for and in the future of development. Okay, let's think about it for a minute here. Cryptocurrencies at the moment are this shiny magical thing that a certain few of us are involved in. There will come a point when it gets integrated into our normal day-to-day lives. Okay, and what's going to happen is it's going to explode. Right, that's enough about Liske. Okay, let's talk about. I'm nearly at the end of this. Let's talk about BAT. Okay, because BAT is an odd one. So I bought BAT, as I probably told you. I bought it at 22 cents. I bought BAT at, and it went up to 30 cents. And this is what happens with ICOs. Okay, with ICOs, what happens is there's a big hype about an ICO. Lots of people have gotten involved in it, and that news continues with the ICO until it launches. And then all of a sudden, people jump in, they make a profit, and then when they've realised they have gotten enough. Now I don't know. I think people said BAT was at 10 cents or something when they bought it in the ICO. So people cashed out when they made 3 times profit. I mean, if it really was 10 cents, then that's pathetic. So anyway, so people essentially cashed out, and then BAT went down the tubes. All right. Now it's not really recovered. Okay, it had a pretty decent few days, and then it went back down. All right. Now, the reason why I had a good few days is because it went right down in price, and people thought, yeah, this is a good price. I'm going to get in with BAT, and so they go for it. Now, my issue with BAT is its supply. The supply is humongous. Brave, now, I've got quite a few people in my group, people that I know, have downloaded Brave. Okay, Brave is the browser that BAT is going to be operating on. Okay. So Brave is ad-free and it's bloody fast. Okay, so you've got on most websites, you've got this underlying these underlying bits of code that make ads pop up and makes all kinds of things happen that slows down your computer. Brave is taking that away. It's removed. It's pure. Brave makes everything work flipping fast. Okay. And as a result of that, I believe that technology is just groundbreaking. I think that, especially as the guy behind Brave, is the guy behind Mozilla Firefox, one of arguably the best ever internet browsers. Okay, he hasn't even started. It's not even started. It's a bit like Redcoin. Okay, Redcoin is a cryptocurrency that has virtually no value at the moment because it's not really even started. Brave hasn't even started. So a good price point is down here. You know, a good price point is around the 17 cents mark. Okay, so if we have a look, and Iconomy, I'll talk about Iconomy in a minute. Iconomy, I think, is absolutely going to be huge. Okay, so let's have a look at basic attention token. So it's 19 cents at the moment, so it's gone up. It's gone up some. All right, if you can get. I mean, basically, BAT token is a good price really anywhere around here, okay, because it's just so undervalued for what it actually is. Look at the volume, right? So it's undervalued for what it is. This is accumulation point. Get a ton of it, because when Brave starts to work, and basically BAT is going to be used for the buying of ads and digital advertising. It's digital advertising. Okay, basically. So, you know, if I wanted to advertise on something, I would pay using BAT tokens. Okay, or BA tokens, because the T in tokens is tokens. The T is token, whatever, right? Anyway, so as far as the actual website is concerned, as far as Brave is concerned, BAT's link with Brave is what's going to explode the value, and the fact that advertisers are just going to want to jump in and get their ads on Brave as it becomes more and more well known. I think this is going to skyrocket. So a good price anywhere, but the lower the better. All right. So BAT, don't lose faith in BAT. The supply is a turn-off, but the actual coin and what it's linked to is a massive positive. All right, we can only do a couple more. So let's have a look at Siacoin. Okay, because Siacoin, wrong thing. Siacoin has exploded very recently. Although it's always been a relatively decent coin, it's only been recently that it's truly started to get going. It's just not cooperating today. So there is a trend line running from the bottom, and it's just consistently going up. What I love about Siacoin, and I got Siacoin at the just under 500, so it was down here. I remember when the price dropped, and I got it around here, 492. I got it at, I think, yeah, 492. I got Siacoin at, and straight after that it went up, down, up, down, up, and it's followed this trend line. So Siacoin is a very minimal risk. Okay, this is why I love Siacoin, because you can get some great benefits out of Siacoin. There's an announcement coming out very shortly about Siacoin. Well, there was news of the announcement a few days ago, and Siacoin has really just been growing. It's been going from strength to strength. I bought thousands upon thousands of Siacoin when I saw that it had gone back down to about 500, because it went higher than that at this point, and I knew that it was gonna snap again, and it snapped. Okay, look at it. Went right up to the late 700s. I'm pretty sure it touched the 800s. So Siacoin, I see as continuing to follow this trend. I see it as this being its support line. This is the support line. Okay, so it's only really going to go up from here. And although I can't see much of what's happened in the past, this is the resistance line. So look at where it can go. Okay, this is what it can reach. All right, so it's very minimal investment. It's very minimal risk. It's a very inexpensive coin, and it's completely undervalued and certainly a grower. Okay, so I would definitely recommend that you get this. If you can get it under 700, try and do that, because I can't see it, unless something terrible really happens with Siacoin. I can't see it going back into the 500s very easily. So I would try and get it on or around 660 to 700. Okay, if you see it at that price, get it, because Siacoin is a great one. Okay, it wasn't in my top 5 yesterday, but I certainly see this as a good one in a year's time. If you'd have got this literally a month and a half ago, it was at 200. So it has just blown, and it's going to continue to blow. Okay, so get Siacoin. It's a nice, beautiful little coin. Any more? Right, let me talk about Digibyte, because Digibyte, a lot of people have asked for it in my group. And Digibyte is just, I mean, I was Mr. Digibyte on YouTube for a little bit, you know, because I was pumped. I was really loving Digibyte, and I was encouraging people to get behind Digibyte at this period here. So it was, gosh, when was it? It was around about this point here. I said, get into Digibyte, because it's going to be massive. And it did go massive. I was proven completely right. But what I said is that I said a lot hinged on June 10th. And when was this? June 10th. It bombed. Okay? So if you're new to this, let me just explain what happened. So what drove up its value was two main things. Number one was its involvement in a Citibank competition. Okay? And they were presenting, and if they won it, this would have skyrocketed, okay? But they didn't. And that decision happened on the 9th of June. But on the lead up to that decision, it really blew up. Now, my specialist area with Digibyte was Minecraft. Because if you have looked at Suppoman on YouTube, I have got a 150,000 subscriber channel on about Minecraft, okay? I love Minecraft. You could basically, the announcement came out that you could mine Digibyte in Minecraft, okay? And that was going to be integrated on the 10th. So again, on the lead up, there were two main things driving up its value. I bought Digibyte at 0.6 of a cent, and it went up to 6.1 cents. So I made 10 times my investment, and I sold just under, well, I made 10 times, but I didn't sell it 10 times. I sold just under, it was about here. I noticed a massive drop. I sold it when it was at just under 5 cents. Okay, so I made a huge amount back, and I was right to do it. I did buy a little bit and sold it immediately because shorting, I don't know if you know what shorting is, but shorting is when you basically sell high and then buy when the value's back down again. That's shorting it. And I essentially did that for Digibyte. I thought when it goes right down, I'll be able to buy back and potentially make a lot of money in the future. But Digibyte died for me, really, around about the 10th. And stories came out afterwards that what happened with Minecraft and Digibyte is that you could mine Digibyte in Minecraft. Because in Minecraft, you essentially, it's like a building game, okay? You build up structures, you build up worlds. But in order to build it, you need to mine items so that you can build the blocks. And you could actually mine Digibyte in a private server. So it wasn't going to be officially adopted as the official, like, a cryptocurrency of Minecraft, but it was going to be available in a private server. However, there was a 40% transaction fee when you wanted to put that Digibyte that you mined into a wallet. Killed it. So what's happened with Digibyte since then is it's just kind of died a death. And there's not much more to say than that, really. It's just kind of, it's not really broke. It's broken maybe a bit, 1200, but it's mainly stayed in the 1,000 mark. So if you can get this, I think this is a good price. There's another competition. There was some news the other day about Digibyte, about their meeting with Citibank. In fact, that meeting was yesterday, and it did nothing to the price. Nothing. Diddly squat. It's killed Digibyte, what happened on the 9th. It's harmed a lot of people that made a massive loss, and it's also harmed a lot of people that that even really defended Digibyte, because since it's just not breaking through and people have just, they've just given up. So if you want to get in with Digibyte, it's still at a good price. It's still, I mean, I got it Digibyte in the 400s, okay, and it's now at 1,000, so it's still pretty good. It went all the way up to 2,100, okay, so it's still got some great legs in it, okay, potentially in the future. It's died for me, but there's every likelihood that this is going to do well again, okay, so if you can get around the 1,000 mark, as close to that as possible, you're likely to see some long-term benefit with Digibyte. May not be immediate. Well, it certainly doesn't look like it's going to be immediate, but it looks good. It looks kind of good for the future. I don't see it going. I can't. There's been kind of like a support line established here, so I can't really see it going below that. If it does, wow, that's dead. So Digibyte is still potentially good for the future, but I don't see it going up anytime soon. Now, if we just go down and have a look at this, what we're noticing is a bit of a triangle happening. So this is normally a point where some movement happens, okay, whether it's a down movement or an up movement. So as the higher highs reduce in size and the higher lows reduce in size, then it normally makes something happen. All right, so this is something to watch out for. People are saying there's another competition, a global competition. It's had absolutely no effect on the market. So basically take this one at your own, I suppose at your own, not peril, but, you know, just, I'm not going to be buying Digibyte again. May come back to burn me. I don't know. Don't really care. But This is something, it's at a good price now where you could possibly make a good return later. Is that it? Steem! Last but not least, Steem. Steem, this, do I really need to say any more on Steem? I think I've said enough, really. Steem is going to be humongous. It's going to be huge. And the reason why is because of community, okay? Community, as opposed to technology. So with cryptocurrencies, you've got technology driving the value. You've got communities driving the value. LBRY credits is almost a combination of both, but mainly community. Okay, that I think is going to skyrocket. And I think that community-based cryptocurrencies have the potential to grow faster. Because, and especially with content creator, this is a content creator community. Okay, these are people who create blogs, create videos, and have an online presence, really. I have an online presence. A friend of mine, Jerry Banfield, has a huge online presence. There are tons of other people, YouTubers, that love Steem. All right? And we've invested heavily in Steem, and it only makes sense to help it grow. Okay? So, Steem, not long after I bought it, so I bought it during the big crash. Okay? So I bought it, it was about here. I bought it at a significant low. Okay, I bought it at 74 cents, and since then it went up to $2.74. So I made nearly 4 times my investment here. But I don't even care, okay, because I know that 4 times investment is going to be nothing compared to what it can be. Okay, there will come a point where Steem gets enormous. More YouTubers will get into Steem. Why not? You get paid for your blogs, for God's sake, and you can integrate YouTube videos into them. So you could almost put YouTube video into the blog and then transcribe it, and then you've got yourself a kick-ass blog. Okay. Now, Jerry Banfield gets $500 to $1,000 per blog post. Okay, so if he does 100 blog posts, that's 100,000 potentially, 50 to 100,000 in revenue. Now, if you kind of cascade that along tons of users, you've got a social network that is going to be enormous. Okay, so I don't give a stuff what the price is now. With Steem, I know this is going to be ginormous. Okay, and this is the accumulation period. Okay, people are accumulating Steem, buying Steem, buy it, and don't, for God's sake, don't get rid of it. It's a bit like LBRY credits. You're onto a good thing. If you get it at a good price, you're onto a good thing. Okay, so look at that. This is accumulation period. People are like with Bitcoin. There was a point where Bitcoin was very low in value and it was doing this. People were accumulating it in the bucket loads, and then all of a sudden, boom, people became millionaires. Okay, so this is accumulation period, and there will come a point where it's just going to skyrocket. Okay, there will come a point. Probably need a few trend lines to see exactly what's going to happen. But this has got an amazing future. All right, there's absolutely no doubt about it. So I don't really need to say much more on that because I've already covered Steem to a huge extent. If you get in at a good price, do not sell it. Okay, this is one that I see making people quite rich over time. So I think that's it. I think I've covered more than 10 there. That's quite a lot. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. I was going to talk about Iconomy, actually. Now, why Iconomy? Now, Iconomy is currently at $4.74. It has reached nearly $6. Now, I got into Iconomy. I told my group about Iconomy not long ago. And I said to them, get in with Iconomy because this is going to be massive. It reached $5.45 or so. And I see this going even better and better because Iconomy's technology is where the magic is. Okay, so you've seen with Coinbase a lot of issues probably recently, and I think that Iconomy's rise has almost coincided with Coinbase's demise. Okay, so I think that there's a lack of reliability with Coinbase and with a lot of wallets. Okay, Economy is going to be a wallet that is 100% secure, 100% insured, and it's going to be quick as anything. All right, so as a wallet, Economy is going to be just incredible, and it's going to allow for seamless transfers, quick transfers. Transfers from Coinbase can take 15, 20, half an hour. A lot of wallets can take more than that, and a lot of wallets have let people down over the course of these ICOs. But Economy is going to be, I think, a leader in this. So I think $4.74, it's not even touching the surface of where this is going to be. So this has gone down, $4.74. Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this, because this could be good to invest in if it goes down a bit further. Guys, that concludes today's podcast. This has been an enormous one, but I hope that this has given you some amazing coins that you can invest in right now. Now, I plan on doing more, so comment below if you want me to cover any others in future videos. If you want to be able to learn how to do what I've just done, take my cryptocurrency investment course for $10, be part of my group, and essentially you will be able to do what I can do. Okay, these are learned skills. But what I would say is that with cryptocurrency investing, don't be ignorant. Okay, people are buying based on greed and selling based on fear, and it ruins the market for everybody. The more educated you can get, the more gains you can make, and the less losses you will make. So I hope this has helped. I hope you've loved this. I hope this has helped you a hell of a lot, and I will see you in the next podcast.